Hey guys, it's Ellie here, and I'm coming at you today with our very first PPL game of the season. We are facing none other than Don Fanatic of the Tottenham Hotspurr. He is the manager or the creator of the Pokemon Premier League, and that was honestly the most terrifying thing that could have happened. You know, coming up against the whole organizer of the league is very pressuring because I don't want to embarrass him, you know? So I looked at his team and he has 10 huge threats that I need to prepare for really well, and I think I did so relatively well. So I've got his team list here, and he has Mega Alakazam, Salamence, Empoleon, Umbreon, Cresselia. By the way, that is a disgusting core. Then we have Terrakion, Raikou, Chandelure, Tangrowth, and Hitmonlee. 10 very, very threatening things. Obvious things that struck out to me against my team is gonna be the Mega Alakazam, Salamence, and Raikou, because those outspeed everything on my team, which I realised on this very first game. I had to prepare for that, and I had to bring a Scarfer, but that didn't stop him bringing a Scarfer too, so I had to have a check for Scarf Raikou or Scarf Terrakion. So I decided what would be a good thing to do is bring a really disgusting and bulky team in the hopes I can switch things in on threats. So initially what I thought he would be bringing was gonna be either Rock Polish Terrakion, either Rock Polish or Scarf Terrakion, because then it just outspeeds everything on my team regardless whether it's Scarfed or not. He's definitely going to be bringing that Mega Alakazam, because that just rips through my team. It destroys the Blade. If it hasn't got a Sword Stance up, it absolutely destroys Mega Venusaur. If it's got Energy Ball, it can, 2-hit KO, 3-hit KO Milotic. It's a very scary thing, and I had to prepare for it. Obviously, the Blade was a must-have for this week. Really needed that priority, given the fact my team is a lot slower than his. So I broke down his team and in comparison to mine, and I honestly thought he would end up bringing Cresselia because it was a good stop to Venusaur and can cripple things on my team with Thunder Wave. Not that he really needed to, because everything is faster than my team essentially. So I thought he would bring Salamence, Cresselia, because Salamence is a really good Intimidate user, and he could also be a late game sweeper with the Moxie ability. He's going to be bringing Empoleon, because looking at his team, it's his only... He's got the Hitmonlee for the Rapid Spin, but I thought Empoleon suited his team better. So I thought he'd be bringing that with the Defog, which is why I decided to bring Milotic this week, but we'll get to that later. Empoleon, and then Raikou, either Scarf or Sub Calm Mind. Both of those are absolutely terrifying, so I had to prepare for both versions. And then we have the Terrakion, either Double Dance or Scarf again, and then obviously he's going to be bringing Alakazam, which is actually what I brung, so I am very, very, very happy with my preparation this week. So he obviously is going to bring the Ments for my Blade. Very good Intimidate user. He gets access to Defog as well as Wish and Roost. Also gets access to Flamethrower, which is definitely something I needed to look out for. Obviously Heatran can't switch on Salamence because they carry Earthquake, so Ments is a problem for my team, which is why I brought which is why I brought Togekiss this week in preparation for the Salamence. You'll see that in play later, maybe. Obviously, Heracross is a huge, huge one to have on my team. Originally, I really wanted to bring Banded Darmanitan, but that just wouldn't be practical. It's not fast enough, unfortunately, this week anyway. So I decided to bring Scarf Moxie Heracross, which is absolutely disgustingly good against his team. As I mentioned earlier, he's got a huge fighting and bug weakness, so Heracross was definitely my win condition this week. Next up we have the Blade, Venusaur, Heatran, and Milo. That core, by the way, Togekiss, Venusaur, Heatran, and Milotic, is just disgusting. the four synergize together really well. And obviously there are loads of utility moves each of them can run. I decided to run Assault Vest Milotic this week, but we'll get into the sets and stuff later. So that's basically how I prepared for his team, and we will go into the in-depth analysis right now. Alright, so as I previously mentioned, Heracross is going to be a huge get for us in this team. My opponent's team is very bug and fighting weak, so what else would I need other than Heracross? It gets access to Moxie and Guts, has a decent base speed and powerful attack stat, really decent special bulk, so you can live at least one Psychic from a Cresselia, which is absolutely crazy. And obviously kill it in return with that Stab Mega Horn, huge base power. Heracross is really going to be helping out our team this week in the PPL. The moves that I ran this week was Mega Horn, Earthquake for Raikou, Close Combat obviously for Dual Stab, very powerful Dual Stab there, and Stone Edge for the Salamence. I didn't particularly get to use Stone Edge this week, just because, you know, he didn't switch in Salamence when Heracross was in play. But we'll get to that later. And I did decide to bring Moxie Scarf Heracross. 252 speed, 252 attack, and the reason for this is because I really needed something to outspeed Mega Alakazam, because obviously that is a huge problem for our team. One of the scariest Megas in the league, for sure. Second to Mega Mawile, which is absolutely terrifying. I'm definitely going to have to prepare for that. So yeah, Heracross is a huge get for our team. Next up on our draft is the Blade. Now this thing is very important to our team. Again, it brings priority and something for Mega Alakazam. I was hoping to get a Shadow Swords Dance up late game and just sweep, but that didn't seem to be the case. We'll get to that later. Huge natural bulk in that defense stat. Base 150 defense, that's crazy! Powerful priority, access to sub and SD, and No Guard is a pretty useless ability for the Blade, but you know, really wish it got a different ability. The set I brought this week was Sword Stance to set up, obviously, Shadow Sneak for that amazing priority, then we have Gyro Ball, because his team is freakishly fast, which is what I mentioned earlier, and Sacred Sword, Secret Sword, whichever, for the Empoleon, because that just hard-walled me otherwise. The Blade is really useful on our team. Things to look out for though is definitely that Salamence. Obviously the Intimidate is going to be an issue if we don't have a Sword Stance up, and obviously we've got to look out for Fire Blast. If we don't set up on the Cresselia, you know, we can't do much to it, and obviously Empoleon can probably kill us with, you know, a couple Scalds, maybe even HP Fire if you just decided to bring it. Also we've got to look out for knockoff users too. Other than that, the Blade was a really good one against most of his team. Now next up we have Mega Venusaur. This thing is an absolute tank, amazing natural bulk, really decent speed actually looking at it, good attack stat, but wow, this Mega is really good against his team other than the Megazam obviously. It can outspeed Empoleon and put it to sleep. It can outspeed, well, if I chose to speed creep, it could have outsped Cresselia, I'm pretty darn certain. Sleep Powder is going to be coming really handy in this match. The moves that I brought this week was Giga Drain, Synthesis, Leech Seed, and Sleep Powder, and Mega Venusaur here was here to just annoy and take hits. Fully physically defensive, investment in HP and defense, and a little bit in special attack. Just so 1v1ing things like Cresselia, and Empoleon would just be, you know, a little bit easier with Leech Seed and Sleep Powder, stuff like that. The only thing that would have walled Mega Venusaur would have been the Tangrowth, but I really didn't think he'd bring it, considering I had Darmanitan, Heracross, and the Mega Venusaur in my draft, so I'm very happy he didn't bring Tangrowth, otherwise that could have been a problem. if it was the physically defensive variant, which it may well have been. So yeah, I was expecting Mega Venusaur to do a lot of work during this game. You'll see how he performs in the game later on. But yeah, that is why I had Mega Venusaur on the team, to deal with things like Cresselia, because that thing is just a huge bitch to put up with. Next up, we have, to pair with our defensive core, we have Heatran. Now at this point we have kind of a ground weakness, but that's okay. Really got to be looking out for that Terrakion. So we have Heatran. This is our rock setter for the match. It also is going to be carrying Taunt and Roar in case he wants to bring Sub, Calm Mind, Raikou. One of the things I had for it. Very, very spooky thing to be having to deal with if he decided to bring it, which he ended up bringing, and I'm very, very happy with Heatran's performance this game. I decided to run Earthquake over Earth Power or Lava Plume. This is strictly because of Sub, Calm Mind, Raikou, and I'm so happy that I decided to bring it over Lava Plume, because obviously Earthquake does about 60%, it'll be able to break Raikou's sub and then probably finish it off depending on what HP is at. Very happy I decided to bring Heatran this week, really helped out against Cresselia, and it's a very good mon to have on our team paired with Venusaur. Obviously it takes away its flying weakness, etc, etc. Fully specially defensive to take hits from Mega Alakazam. Focus Blast, you know, I can switch the Blade on that and then finish it off with a Shadow Sneak, depending on, you know, the HP and such, depending on the situation, essentially. Next up we have Milotic, fully physically defensive this week, really good natural bulk, and it can hit back hard too, but I decided to stick an Assault Vest on and have it fully physically defensive so it has bulk on both sides. My moveset this week was Scald Ice Beam for that freaking scary Salamence, Mirror Coat for any Cresselia shenanigans, and I think Hidden Power Ground, which was for Raikou and Empoleon, I think? Not too sure though, maybe it was Hidden Power Fighting. No, I'm pretty sure it was Ground for Raikou. Obviously that thing is hella scary and, you know, I want to try and break its up in any way I can. So, Milotic, I decided to bring competitive in case he decided to bring the Intimidate variant of Salamence instead of the Dragon Dance Moxie set, which honestly I thought he was going to bring, and I was so scared of that Salamence. You can run so many different things on a team and I just didn't know how to prepare for it, but he did end up bringing the Intimidate variant. I'm very happy that I did decide to go with competitive rather than more marble scale. Scald is definitely on there for things like Terrakion. Even if he brought Hitmonlee, it would have been really good for it. Obviously the 30% chance to burn is huge, and it can burn things on switch-ins, which is very, very nice. He had no water immunities, so, you know, burns are always nice. And finally, we have our final pick of our team this week. It is the Togekiss, getting rid of the ground weakness, or somewhat ground weakness in our team. I decided to bring a kind of odd set this week. We have the standard T-Wave Air Slash shenanigans going on, but then we have Wish and Baton Pass. Baton Pass really, really helps me out in this game. You will see why later. T-Wave didn't really get much use, unfortunately, but, you know, Baton Pass was really, really good for me because you can set up a Wish first turn and then you can switch out using Baton Pass safely into the mon that you want to pass to, because that means you switch out last and you get a guaranteed recovery from the Wish you set up. This Wish support was initially for Milotic and Heracross, and I'm really happy that I put Togekiss in my team this week, because it dealt with the Salamence and it dealt somewhat with the Mega Alakazam. Really happy with its performance this week, and I cannot wait to show you what it does. Okay, so on to the opponent's team. First up, we have the Raikou. The scariest thing on his team, in my opinion, because it just tears through it. If that thing gets up a sub, it's basically game over if I don't know how to deal with it. So he did bring the sub Carmine variant with T-Bolt, and I think it was extra sensory. I expected him to bring Shadow Ball, but then I realised Thunderbolt just completely wrecks the blade anyway. So he brought sub Carmine with extra sensory for the Venusaur and the Heracross. Really, really decent coverage actually, looking back at it. Huge problem for my team. Obviously that speed stat is incredible along with its special attack, and it has really decent natural bolt, so that's definitely something to be looking out for in this game. Its ability doesn't really come into play that much, but you know, it's there, pressure is there. Huge threat to my team, and you will see why in the upcoming battle. Very glad I prepared for it. Then we move on to his Mega Alakazam, which, why wouldn't he bring? It's one of the fastest things in the league, with that monstrous special attack stat. Absolutely disgusting. And ability is Trace, which, when I think about it, is absolutely terrifying, because it can come in under Blade, Trace No Guard, and then just spam Focus Blast. Really, really scary. I thought it could have been sub Carmine or sub Disable or something like that. So I really thought Jack would have a trick up his sleeve with this, which is really, really, really terrifying. Which is why Scarf Heracross was essential for me in this game. Togekiss was there for Mega Alakazam, but you know, they can run like, he could have run like HP Ice or something to catch me off guard, or even the sub Carmine set could have swept me. But he didn't. He ended up bringing something different, and I'm very glad he wasn't the sub Carmine Alakazam. Otherwise, we could have been in a lot of trouble, because it outspeeds my whole team, other than the Heracross, and if it's behind a sub, we're in trouble. Thirdly, we have the Empoleon. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be Stealth Rocket and Defogger for this. That's going to be its role in its team. I believe this was fully specially defensive. I think he brought this in preparation for Milotic, and I think maybe Mega Venusaur? I'm pretty sure Grass is neutral to this. Don't quote me on that though, like, oh, that sounds so dumb. Really good special attack stat, but also really good defensive stats. Only thing dragging it down is its speed. I think it's base 55, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure Defiant is illegal with the combination of Defog. So I think this week he brought Torrent Empoleon with Scald Knockoff. Definitely something to be looking out for on the for the Deblade. If that thing loses its Violite, it's basically crippled. It's not crippled, but it loses a lot of natural bulk. So knock off Scald and then Defog. Not too sure what his third move. Oh no, it's Stealth Rock. Excuse me, that was really silly of me. So we have, obviously, rocks don't really hinder my team too much other than the Togekiss. I just realised I didn't bring a spinner this week, but that's because I didn't really need one. Because as I mentioned, it doesn't. Rocks don't really hinder my team. Spikes would be more of an issue. But he didn't have a spike setter on his team, so that's okay. Now, we have another huge threat that he bought this week, which was Terrakion. I was terrified of this thing, because obviously it resists the only priority I have on my team, and it outspeeds the rest of it if it's scarfed or has a rock polish up. Absolutely terrifying, decent coverage, and he could even brought a Specs variant, which definitely would have caught me off guard, so I had to prepare for both of those. But he did bring the physical Scarf variant, and I'm glad, because if it was rock polish Life Orb, I probably would have got swept. I honestly thought he'd bring, I didn't think he'd be bringing Aerial Ace, but it turned out he brought Aerial Ace, and I was, my heart was racing. There was a turn in the battle where he revealed the Aerial Ace, and I was like, oh my god, I could have lost my win condition! Ah! And that completely just released the adrenaline for me. I was like, right, I've got to get my head in the game. He's got tricks up his sleeve, and I really, really got to think about all these turns. Huge threat. Obviously, Justified isn't going to be used. The ability Justified won't be used too much in this battle because I don't have any dark types, and he wouldn't switch in a Heracross's knockoff or predicted knockoff, so to say, which I wasn't carrying. So yeah, Justified didn't come into play this week. But I'm sure he can pull off a lot of shenanigans with this Pokemon. Very, very good one on his team. Very scary as well. Then we have Cresselia. Now this thing is a huge pain in the ass. We have huge natural bulk, 120 in defense and HP, and then we have 130 in special defense. That is absolutely disgusting, ladies and gentlemen. Base 70 special attack, which isn't too bad if it's sub-Calm Mind, but I honestly didn't think he'd bring that. I thought he would just bring fully physically defensive, which is what he did bring. Preparing for the Darmanitan, I can only assume. But Heracross luckily just tears through his defensive core. If I get a Moxie up at some point in this game, I will be able to sweep. Once this is out the way, I can spam Earthquake. Once this and Terrakion, I should say, I can just spam Earthquake and win the game. I'm pretty sure he was carrying Luna Dance on this as well, which is absolutely terrifying, because if he got off for Luna Dance and came back in with like Raikou or Terrakion or even Empoleon, all their HP would be back, and that would be a problem. He was running Thunder Wave on this, which was a huge problem for my team. Because I didn't bring a Cleric this week either. I decided to bring Baton Pass over Heal Bell on the Togekiss, and I'm still very happy with that decision. But yes, let's move on to his final one of the team, which is Salamence. Huge threat. Decent special attack stats, so we could easily have brought Specs. Definitely would have caught me off guard, not going to lie. Also got access to moves like Aerial Ace and Air Cutter, with the ability Intimidate, so this is quite a hindrance to Heracross, and also Deblade. I decided to not bring like fully specially attacking presence because of that Cresselia. I really needed physical attackers for this week to just tear down the Cresselia, because that was my main concern, honestly. Especially if it's fully defensive sub-Calm Mind. So I've probably said that sentence a lot during this video, I'm so sorry. Salamence also gets access to the Fog and Wish, really good utility Pokemon. I'm pretty sure it gets access to Roar and stuff like that, but I'm pretty sure this week he did bring a fully offensive variant with Lefties, just here for a bulky Intimidator. And honestly, you know, it could have been a huge problem for my team, but I took it out early, and yeah, it wasn't too much of a problem for me this week. Very glad, because it could have been a huge problem. I believe he was running Aerial Ace, Dragon Claw, Roost maybe, and Flamethrower. That's going to be my guess. That's going to be my guess for what he brought on this Salamence. Not 100% sure. But I guess I'll find out on his team analysis battle video thing. Those are the teams for this week. Two very threatening teams, and let's see who came out on top. So looking at his team, I thought he'd either lead with Raikou or the Salamence. So I ended up going with Heracross because it is my Scarfer. And if the Raikou was Scarfed, Extra Sensory wouldn't kill me right off the bat. So I decided to go for a really aggressive play here and go for Mega Horn, because it hits everything on his team apart from Salamence, which is actually what he ends up switching out into. A safe middle, good play. The Mega Horn does connect on this incoming Salamence. I'm now at -1, and obviously it is a resisted hit, so it's not going to be doing too much damage, but any damage on this is nice. Obviously I can't stay in here. I am choice locked into Mega Horn, and that's going to be doing absolutely nothing. So he is now going to be going for, I was thinking at this point he'd be going for Fire Blast or something along those lines, so I switch into Togekiss. I was seconds away from pressing Heatran, and I'm so glad I didn't, because he goes straight for the EQ. Very good prediction on his behalf. I was predicting the Fire Blast, so that was a decent play. The T-Wave here is very obvious, so his Raikou switch is extremely obvious. Very aggressive play on his behalf. But I pull out the Baton Pass and gain back some initiative on this Raikou switch in. Really, really obvious and aggressive play by Jack there. Clawing back some initiative here. I believe I withdraw and go into my Heatran to get up my rocks for this game. Rocks are going to be essential for this because it's going to be whistling down that Salamence. Every time it comes in it takes 25% because obviously it's weak to rocks. And yeah, it's going to be really, really good chip damage on it. So I get up my rocks as he sets up a sub. Not too much of a problem. If he wants to set up, I can go straight for that roar as I mentioned earlier. And I could just break it by going for Earthquake, but I don't want to reveal that quite yet. He's probably thinking that I'm Lava Plume, Willow, or Lava Plume, Toxic, something along those lines. Luckily I did bring Roar and Taunt to this game, so I'm very prepared for threats like this. So I roar this straight out. I'm not messing around with this. This could just straight up sweep me if I let him set up. So he gets roared out into Terrakion. The one thing I didn't want to see, he has to be clicking Earthquake here. He absolutely has to. This thing is a problem for his team. But I decided to switch into Mega Venusaur in case he wanted to predict my Togekiss switch in. So Venusaur is a close, safe middle, as he does end up going for the Earthquake. And Venusaur is just going to absolutely eat that up. I am now free to Mega Evolve and hopefully hit a Sleep Powder in the incoming switch. He switches into his Cresselia, which is just, oh, I hate this thing so much. It's such an irritation to my team. So now we see Mega Venusaur evolving, getting that powerful bulk, nice and Mega Venusaur. And I do go straight for the Sleep Powder because, you know, he wasn't going to stay in with Terrakion, and I miss the Sleep Powder! I'm thinking, oh no, this is bad. I don't know, I can't switch because he's just going to spam T-Wave, or he's going to spam something, and I don't like it. So I stay in, and I go for another Sleep Powder on this Thunder Wave. I should have, looking back, I should have switched into the Blade here, because its Dry Ball would have got much stronger. But I get full powered this turn, which is so incredibly annoying. At this point I'm thinking, oh crap, this is a huge problem. Looking back, it was just a huge pain in the butt. So he's going to go for Psychic here, and it's going to do about 60 damage? About 40% to this sleep for this Venusaur. And I miss another Sleep Powder, so I'm thinking, right Venusaur, you've done nothing this game, I'm just going to sack you at this point, which was a really dumb play. Really regret making that decision. I should have switched to the Blade there. Really careless play. So what I do here is I go into Heracross, and then I believe I pull a double. Because I thought he would T-Wave here, but he actually ends up going for the Psychic, I believe. Which wouldn't have killed my Heracross. It would have done about 60%, because it's got really good natural bulk. So I predicted the T-Wave here, which is what he should have gone for in my opinion. I go straight for the Dry Ball. I'm not going to go for SD because it's way too early to set up. He's going to bring in the Intimidate user. In comes the Salamence. I'm going to be at -1 now, but he's going to be taking 25% on those rocks. I go straight for the Dry Ball. Really cool battle animation there. And I get a critical hit. Now that's completely irrelevant because I could have finished it off with Shadow Sneak, I believe. So that crit didn't really matter too much. And in comes Mega Alakazam to revenge me or hit something else really hard. Now, I should have clicked Shadow Sneak here, but I didn't because I'm an idiot. I went for Gyro Ball in case he wanted to set up a Calm Mind or something like that. Because I went -1 and Shadow Sneak wouldn't have done too much. So I don't know. I don't know why I didn't go for Shadow Sneak here. I clicked Gyro Ball thinking I would live that, but nope. I just completely get destroyed by that Shadow Ball. So at this point, Mega Venusaur and the Blade are down. I am now free to come in and revenge this with a Mega Horn. His Intimidate user is dead, it's gone. Salamence is no longer a problem for Heracross. He switches into Cresselia here. I think he over-predicted me to predict him to go into... I think he predicted me to go for close combat on the incoming Empoleon, but I had to absolutely go for the safe Mega Horn here. I needed Mega Alakazam dead, so maybe that was a misplay on his behalf. He could have gone to Empoleon there. And I hit 2 Mega Horns in a row, which means Cresselia goes down so early in this game, revenging that Mega Venusaur earlier. I am so happy this thing is dead. This could have been a huge problem for our team. I get the Moxie boost here, which completely forces him into Terrakion or the Empoleon. He ends up bringing in the Terrakion, which tells me he is Scarfed. That is a Scarfed Terrakion, and I am not playing around. So I switch out into Heatran here, thinking he's going to be going, oh crap, Stone Edge is going to be doing so much. And oh my god, he reveals the Aerial Ace, and I'm just like, ah! Oh my god, I could have lost my win condition there. Was not expecting that at all, really thought I'd be going for Stone Edge there. Really glad I switched out into Heatran. Now I'm free to fire off an Earthquake, because both of his ground immunities have just completely died, so... Oh god, pop-up just popped up there, sorry about that. You didn't even see that, I don't know why I'm apologising. So he goes into the Empoleon here, and Earthquake is going to be doing a decent chunk. I'm not too sure how much it does. So it's a 3-hit KO from that range. Really decent damage, considering I'm completely uninvested in attack. Very glad I revealed the Earthquake there. I taunt this now, so he can't defog away his rocks, or he can't get up his own. I could have gone into Milotic there, but I wouldn't have been able to hit back much in return. He stays in here, which I don't particularly agree with, but then again, he doesn't really have much else to take an Earthquake. As he goes for knockoff, I was going to get rid of my lefties. Not too big of a deal. I think that was a misplay on his behalf. He could have gotten off a lot more damage if he wanted to score. But his defensive core is now gone. Empoleon and Cresselia are out the way. Just, you know, 2 more things out the way for Heracross to deal with, basically. He comes in with Terrakion now, and he's either clicking Close Combat or Earthquake. Both Togekiss can absolutely tank. Really good switch here. As I end up going into Milotic instead. I just said Togekiss can switch on the Stone Edge. That was really dumb. No, I said Earthquake or Close Combat. I actually go into Milotic here to take the incoming Stone Edge. That was a really silly commentary mistake. My bad. So he's going to withdraw, obviously not wanting to take a Scald. And I was really hoping for this burn on this Raikou. Not gonna lie, I really wanted to burn on this incoming switch. So I fire off a Scald. Milotic looking powerful as hell on that animation. No burn, but it does a decent chunk. I'm completely uninvested in the special attack. I'm just gonna point that out. Decent chunk. Obviously I cannot stay in on this. I still need this around for Terrakion, so I have to go into Heatran again. If he sets up Carmine or Sub here, I can just roar him out, or even just finish him off with an Earthquake. He ends up going for the safe Thunderbolt, which was a good play. Very safe play. He gets back 12% from lefties, I think it's 12%, something like that. He gets back a turn of lefties, recovery, and fires off another T-Bolt before I kill him off with Earthquake. So Heatran is going to be getting 2 kills this game, really putting in the work. Very glad I decided to bring him. Now he has a free switch again into Terrakion, but he decides to go out into Mega Alakazam, which is spooky. He absolutely has to click Focus Blast here. So I'm thinking, right, I don't want to be taking a Focus Blast. I ain't got time for that. I've got to switch out into Togekiss to take this. So in comes the Togekiss, and he goes for Substitute, and I'm thinking, crap, this is a problem. He's going to be sub Carmine, I'm in trouble. But it turns out he's just sub 3 attacks. It's not as spooky, but if I missed this Air Slash, we could have lost. If this Air Slash missed or didn't break the sub, we could easily have gotten swept by this, I think. Depending on how he played around Mega Heracross. Psychic is going to be able to take me out after this turn, but I do get off some decent damage with Air Slash. I could have baton passed into Heracross here, and looking back, I think I should have, but That's okay. Togekiss is going to go down. And I'm now free to... Well, wow, crit mattered. What the hell, Jack? I only lost you... No, I didn't lose. But I'm able to come in with my Heracross here, and I'm going to be clicking Earthquake. I could have clicked Close Combat, but that would have lowered my defenses, and at this point, Terrakion had to lock itself into Stone Edge, because I have what? I have Heatran, and I have... What's my last one? I forget. But he couldn't lock himself into Aerial Ace because I do have the Heatran still around. And I have the Milotic left. So he had to go for Stone Edge here because Earthquake wouldn't have killed this. So I think Earthquake was my best play because Close Combat would have lowered my defenses rather. Absolutely taken that Stone Edge like a beast. Heracross is the MVP of this match. Oh my god, I was thinking about bringing Adamant Scarf rather than Jolly Scarf, which would have been stupid. Heracross taking the game there with the Moxie Earthquake. Really, really enjoyable game. Thank you very much, Jack, for the battle, and yeah, it's going to be great. Next week's game is against Borussia Blades. I really hope I'm saying that right. I'm probably not. This guy has a Mega Mawile, which I really need to prepare for. Absolutely terrified. But it's definitely going to be a good game. Really looking forward to it. This week's match was a lot of fun. Thank you, Jack, for the battle. Try not to talk shit next week, because it'll just be less embarrassing for you. Am I right? No, I'm just kidding. Jack, that was a very good game. Very enjoyable. Really happy with the 3-0 that we came out with. And really looking forward to next week's performance. So, I will be back next week with another match. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you then. Bye!